try the newest, cheapest, and fastest delivery na express service. Introducing Moto Express PH. You can now leave your shopping and delivery needs with us without much exposure and interaction to people outside. Mapa-grocery items, medicines, foods, and other essentials and halal-certified products, kami na ang mamimili at maghahatid sa'yo. Sinisigurado na ligtas, in good and quality condition ang mga pabili o orders sa delivery service na iyong i-avail. Para sa maayos at mabilis na delivery at order mo, ipamoto mo na. Download Moto Express PH app through Google Play that is built to deliver beyond your expectation. Tara na dito sa Moto Express. Dahil moto mo to.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, brothers and sisters in Islam, as well as to our dear brothers and sisters in humanity. I am Elenida Jess of Cebu, who will be with you for this Batas at Shari'ah program of Shari'ah Counselor Nor Hernandez. This program is on live streaming every Sunday at 12 noon to 1 p.m. Before I would like to start the main topic, allow me to express my gratitude to the generous people who made this program possible, namely to President Ismail Abaya of Global Pinas TV 168, to Shari'ah Counselor Nor Hernandez, to Director Zeno Martinez, as well as to Assistant Director Carl Van Ross. The objective of this program is to give my personal opinion to the Muslim community, particularly the Balik Islam, with regards to the Civil Code of the Philippines, as well as the Code of Muslim Personal Laws of the Philippines, and other related Islamic laws. Again, please remember that this only to give my personal opinion, and it's not a substitute for legal advice. Some of the articles in PD 1083, like Articles 27, 162, and 183, and others, will be tackled during the duration of our time. Now, what is really PD 1083? This is what we call Presidential Decree Number 1083, a decree to ordain and promulgate a code recognizing the system of Filipino Muslim laws, codifying Muslim personal laws, and providing for its administration and for other purposes. Now, our dear viewers, what is the purpose of this code? In our provision in Article 2 of this code, PD 1083, pursuant to Section 11 of Article 15 of the Constitution of the Philippines, which provides that the state shall consider the customs, traditions, beliefs, and interests of national cultural communities in the formulation and implementation of state policies. This code, Paragraph A, recognizes the legal system of the Muslims in the Philippines as part of the law of the land and seek to make Islamic institutions more effective. Paragraph 2 codifies Muslim personal laws, and in paragraph 3 provides for an effective administration and enforcement of Muslim personal laws among Filipinos. As Balik Islam, I have been a Balik Islam for 13 years. I really have observed that there is a need for us as community of Balik Islam to know what are these laws that govern our lives. We cannot just say that I am a Muslim and we can do things that are related to our religion. But remember, our dear brothers and sisters, especially the Balik Islams who are not much familiar with what are these Code of the Philippines, as well as the Code of Muslim Personal Laws of the Philippines and other Islamic law, we have to know, at least by reading this available PD 1083 online, to give us a knowledge. Or if not, we have to seek counsel from For example, from Sharia counselors who could guide us on on what to do, as well as what could be the effects on things that we are going to do. Now, with regards to that question, when is this PD 1083 applicable and to whom? Let me read to you article number 13. Again, this is still on PD 1083, the application. Paragraph 1 states, the provisions of this title shall apply to marriage and divorce. Please take note, this shall apply to marriage and divorce wherein both parties are Muslims. I would like to stress again that this is applicable to marriages and divorces wherein both parties are Muslims, or wherein only the male party is a Muslim and a marriage is solemnized in accordance with Muslim law or this code in any part of the Philippines. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, this article number 13, which is the application, clearly specifies that for the marriages and divorce that took place among Muslims, as well as for, if for example, only one party or the male party is a Muslim, this PD 1083 can be used. So remember always, especially people, Muslim as Balik Islam like me, we have to know that there is a specific provision or the law, the Code of Muslim Personal Laws that we call PD 1083, especially on Article 13, stating that applicable only to marriages and divorce which are happening between both parties who are Muslim or only the male party is a Muslim. Now, in paragraph two, also 2, in case of marriage between a Muslim and a non-Muslim, again, on this second paragraph, it clearly states that between or the case of marriage between a Muslim and a non-Muslim, solemnized not in accordance with Muslim law or this code. So what would happen? Can we apply PD 1083, my dear Muslim brothers and sisters? Of course, in this paragraph 2, it is stated, it is the civil code of the Philippines which shall apply. We have to know that if the marriage that is between a Muslim and a non-Muslim solemnized not in accordance with Muslim law or this code, the code or the civil code of the Philippines shall apply. So I hope this is clear already, to you, my dear brothers and sisters, because we really need to know what are those criteria that we have to consider upon before doing something or before making decisions. Now, in paragraph number 3, subject to the provisions of the preceding paragraphs, the essential requisites and legal impediments of marriage, divorce, paternity and filiation, guardianship and custody of minors, support and maintenance, claims for customary dower, mahar, betrothal, breach of contract to marry, solemnization and registration of marriage and divorce, rights and obligations between husband and wife, paternal authority, and the relation or property relations between husband and wife shall be governed by this code and other applicable Muslim laws. Now, what is really happening in our Muslim community? I've been 13 years, as I've shared with you, I've been into 13 years of being a Muslim, as a Balik Islam. Now, if we observe our community, the Muslim community, I am only referring to what I am seeing here in Cebu, particularly with the Balik Islam. Most of us don't know really what are these laws to follow. And I have been noticing that a lot of irregularities that are happening, particularly to marriages done. I've known of some people um, who are contracting subsequent marriage. But when I went into the study on this, what are the laws that are governing our lives as Muslim, I really see something which should not have been done. I don't know if those people really knew what are to be followed, and that they just simply ignored the laws. But in my case, I really went into study, even knowing what are my rights as a Muslim. For example, can a Muslima who once was a non, let's say I was in different denomination, can I can I be can I contract a subsequent marriage with a Muslim? So before doing, for example, the plan that I have in mind, I really did some research. But of course, when I look into this, some articles or provisions of our laws, specifically the civil laws, that as a Muslim, though I am a Muslim, but my marriage was done in a civil way, I could not use the provisions given on this PD 1083. So let's always be careful. We have to bear in mind that we are governed by laws. As Muslims, we're encouraged to follow what are the laws of the land, especially the Civil Code of the Philippines, as well as this PD 1083, the Code of Muslim Personal Laws of the Philippines. I will focus more on some of the provisions in PD 1083, my dear brothers and sisters. And this, I think, is an issue that most of us are familiar with. This is with regards to marriage, or in Islam, we call this as nikah. So, when, for example, a Muslim man is considering to get into marriage life, what must be considered? Let's start with, as if he's yet single and he want to contract a marriage, what are these requisites that he has to consider? Our PD 1083 provides us guidelines, and this is found in Chapter 2, titled Marriage or Nikah. That is in Section 1, Requisites of Marriage. That means what are to be met before this marriage be solemnized. I would like to read to you, my dear brothers and sisters, this article number 15. Essential requisites. No marriage contract shall be perfected unless the following essential requisites are complied with. Take note, this is very clear. No marriage contract shall be perfected unless the following essential requisites are complied with. Essential requisites. And what are these essential requisites? I would like to read these essential requisites. Paragraph A, legal capacity. Legal capacity of the contracting parties. B, mutual consent of the parties freely given. C, offer a job and acceptance kabul duly witnessed by at least two competent persons after the proper guardian in marriage or the wali has given his consent, and stipulation of customary doer or mahar duly witnessed by two competent persons. As I have said, as I have shared with you, my dear brothers and sisters, that I am only giving you my personal opinion, and it's not a substitute for legal advice. What I'm reading to you now is this requisites, essential requisites. So legal capacity, again, of the contracting parties, mutual consent of the parties freely given, the offer, the job, and the acceptance or the kabul during a duly witnessed by at least two competent person after the proper guardian in marriage, the wali has given his consent. And lastly, in the paragraph 4, stipulation of customary door or mahar duly witnessed by two competent persons. Is it possible, my dear brothers and sisters, to consider a marriage in Muslim rite of which one is missing or lacking? Shall we say paragraph B is that there is no mutual consent freely given by these parties. One, for example, who was forced to contract into marriage. Okay, so in that case, if one is missing, the marriage being solemnized is not really in accordance with our provisions in PD 1083, specifically on Article 15. The four requisites, as I have mentioned, must be met. So how many requisites that we have been mentioning? There are four. One, the legal capacity. Two, there is the mutual consent. Number three, there should be the offer. Of course, the man would offer to the future bride. And this offer would be accepted by the future bride. And we call that acceptance as the kabul. And this, again, must be witnessed by at least two competent persons. Who are those two competent persons? These are persons which are, shall we say, of whom people are in the community looked up to. Of course, this must be this this paragraph 2 must be paragraph C must be met. And okay, so next, maybe my dear brothers and sisters, you are familiar with the statement that Muslim man can or may contract subsequent marriage. I've been into several da'wah activity, and what I have observed, some people, especially the ladies or the wives, they are really fearful of embracing Islam. After all, everything has been clearly shared with them what Islam is all about and others. But when it comes to marriages, mostly the non-Muslim wives are really fearful that what would happen if, for example, they become Muslims, because they have this in mind that when they get into the fold of Islam, usually the wife, especially those coming from other denomination, would have this fear that what would happen if I become a Muslim and my husband would be also Muslim. Yes, that is really normal among us ladies because we don't want to have somebody who would be wife number 2 or whatever number. Of course, in Islam, there is that limit that is met, the conditions are met up to 4 wives. And I would like to read or to give you something like to clear up these doubts with regards to if man can really contract subsequent marriage, because this has been the concern of many Muslim women, especially coming from a non-Muslim denomination. So what would govern this act? What are the provisions in PD 1083 that a Muslim man must be considering before a subsequent marriage is made? Okay, are you ready, my dear sisters? Especially the Balik Islam? Take note on this. I hope that after our sharing, or my sharing with you, you would be analyzing. These are the guidelines. So it's not that a man, a Muslim one who reverted to Islam, can easily contract marriage. By law, we have a guide. So Section 3, I would be reading to you Section 3 of PD 1083. This about subsequent marriages. And this is Article 27. Again, this is Article 27. Subsequent marriages by a husband. Notwithstanding the rule of Islamic law permitting a Muslim to have more than one wife, but one wife unless he can deal with them with equal companionship and just treatment. I would reiterate, Article 27, subsequent marriage by a husband, notwithstanding the rule of Islamic law permitting a Muslim to have more than one wife, but one wife, unless he can deal with them with equal companionship and just treatment, as enjoined by Islamic law and only in exceptional cases. Again, in my opinion, what are these? What do we mean by equal companionship and just treatment? Remember, in this Article 27, it states that there is the phrase equal companionship and just treatment. Now, what does it mean? The man must be physically present. If he is contracting subsequent marriage for, that means for the second time, he has to devote physically his time with the first wife as well as with the second wife. If in case he has third or fourth wife, he must have to abide by this first paragraph, Article 27, that he can give equal companionship. So that means physically present this Muslim man to his wife. Of course, as I've said, if he has four wives and that is allowable with these conditions that I have mentioned, he must be there. And it is also stated in Article 35, my dear Muslim brothers and sisters, what are these just treatment? Specifically, these rights and obligations of the husband are clearly identified in Article 35. Let me read to you these rights and obligations of the husband. The husband shall fix the residence of the family. Oh, remember, this is not a joke. For those who are planning to contract marriage or subsequent marriage, make sure that husband must have to fix the residence of the family. Especially nowadays, we have to know what are these laws that governing our activity. And I'm only reading to you this Article 35, the rights and obligation of the husband. And this, the second paragraph is that the conjugal dwelling is not in keeping with her social standing or is for any reason not safe for the members of the family. So if in case the court may exempt the wife from living with her husband. I am reading the last paragraph of this Article 35. The court may exempt the wife from living with her husband on any of the following grounds. When can the Muslim wife refuse to not be living with the husband? Number one, or paragraph A, her dowry is not satisfied in accordance with the stipulations that I have read. Again, her dowry is not satisfied in accordance with the stipulations. Please remember, my dear Muslimah, this is very clear in Article 35 of our PD 1083. You can exert your rights because this is clearly written. And when What other ground that the wife will be exempted from living with her husband? This is in paragraph B. The conjugal dwelling is not in keeping with her social standing. For example, you grow up to be, let's say, with a golden spoon. Of course, the husband has to consider where you would be housed, where would be your residence, not just you'll be a house would be rented in a slum or a squatter area. If that happens, then you can use this Article 35 to decide, of course, with the court decision, my dear Muslim sisters. You have to let's say you have to file a petition that uh, stating that you don't desire because this has not been met, or for any reason not safe for the members of the family or her property. So with this paragraph B that I have read to you, the Muslim wife may the court may exempt the wife from living with her husband on any of the following grounds, and that is in paragraph B. The conjugal dwelling is not in keeping with her social standing or is for any reason not safe for the members of the family or her property. My dear Muslim brothers, or for those who are uh, teaching our Muslim brothers and sisters in a specific community, as much as possible, learn what are the laws that governing us. We could not just let anything happen to our brothers and sisters. We want to live harmoniously in a society. But of course, everything is governed by this law. And let me read again also to you, my dear brothers and sisters, on this Article 67, support for wife and infant. Remember that we have been talking that a man can marry at most four, but if in case he could not give equal compensation or just treatment, marry only one. So in Article 67, what is this? The wife, paragraph 1, the wife shall be entitled to support during the marriage. Let's be wise, Muslim sisters. We are entitled to support during our marriage. But what is happening in our society? What is happening in our Muslim community? Mostly the women are working for the family, and the man is just left at home without much support for the wife. It should not be happening, my dear Muslim brothers and sisters. Okay, so I have read to you the articles in response to that question. Um, what do we mean by equal companionship and just treatment? And before I would go on with my sharing, I would like to say salam alaikum to my Muslim sisters in Cebu, Noor Edding, Sister Nurjana, Sister Aisha Noor of Toledo, Sister Rowena of Toledo also, Sister Safia, Sister Hadira of Daan Bantayan, Sister Mariam of Bacolod. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. By the way, my dear brothers and sisters, our Sister Mariam of Bacolod, I would like to plug this. She is having a business, and that is banana chips, and very delicious banana chips. Uh, Inshallah, support her business. Okay, so my dear brothers and sisters, I would like to share again with you another what are other support that must be considered by a husband who is intending to contract subsequent marriage. This is in Title 4 of PD 1083. The title is Support or the Nafaka. Article 65. What is this Article 65? Support defined. Take note, support defined. Support or nafaka includes everything that is indispensable for sustenance, dwelling, clothing, and medical attendance according to the social standing of the person obliged to give it, and the education the person entitled to the support until he completes his education, training, or vocation, even beyond the age of majority. Now, my dear Muslim brothers who are intending to contract subsequent marriage, is it clear to you what support should you give to your future second family? I hope so, because if you are not going to comply with this provision, there would be really legal consequence. I would like to read again this Article 65, support defined. What are the support? You have to take note, my Muslim brothers. This support includes everything that is indispensable for sustenance. Is your salary enough for two families? What do you think? Are this dwelling really suitable to the kind of family that your future second wife, or for example, is used to, or else your first family or first wife? You have to think of this. And not only that, there are a lot of other aspects that you have to consider: the clothing, the medical attendance, according to the social standing of the person obliged to give it. Are you ready for this? My Muslim sisters, please consider this article number 65. Marriage is not a joke. This could be lifetime. What are happening with the marriages in our country? A lot are a greater percentage dissolve because we did not care to know what are the laws that must be followed. So I hope by this sharing that I have with you, you come to your senses that this must be met. Okay. Another is this. I would like to give or to ask this question. What are the example of the exemptions mentioned in Articles 27? Remember, I read to you Article 27. Article 27. That means this is by the husband. Notwithstanding the rule of Islamic law permitting a Muslim to have more than one wife, but one wife, unless he can deal with them with equal companionship and just treatment, as enjoined by Islamic law, and only in exceptional cases. What are these exceptional cases? What do you think are these exceptional cases? Okay, this, for example, you are a military man, or else you are a seafarer. You can use Article 27 for your intention to contract subsequent marriage. Notify the court that you are exempted is because you are a military man, and that or you are a seafarer. Okay? I think that's clear. And I have this another question that might be questions raised by others. Hopefully, with my opinion, as I've said, it's just my opinion and not a substitute for legal advice. What are the other things Muslim man has to consider when planning to contract subsequent marriages? Let's see if he can easily contract subsequent marriage. I would be reading to you Article 162. And what is this 162 of our PD 1083? Subsequent marriage. Any Muslim husband desiring to contract a subsequent marriage shall, before so doing, listen carefully, file a written notice thereof with the clerk of court of the Shari'ah circuit court of the place where his family resides. I would like to reiterate, file a written notice thereof with the clerk of court of the Sharia circuit court of the place where his family resides. I hope that is clear. Upon receipt of said notice, the clerk shall serve a copy thereof to the wife or wives. Aha. So the wife or the wives will be notified by the clerk of court. My dear Muslim sisters, take note on this. The husband, your husband, cannot just contract subsequent marriage without filing a written notice to the with the clerk of court. So you will be notified. You will be receiving notice from the clerk of court, of course, from the Sharia Circuit Court. Upon receipt of said notice, the clerk shall serve a copy thereof to the wife or the wife. Should any of them object, do you really want to object? Or are you planning to object? Please take note on this. Should any of them object, an Agama Arbitration Council, Agama Arbitration Council shall be constituted in accordance with the provisions of paragraph 2 of the preceding article. If the Agama Arbitration Council fails to obtain the wife's consent to the proposed marriage, the court shall, subject to Article 27, decided whether or not to sustain her objection. So once you object, my dear sister, there would be the forming of the Agama Arbitration Council. So if in case this would be now the rule of the task of the court to determine whether your husband is really qualified to contract subsequent marriage. And again, we go back to Article 27. Remember Article 27? We have those identified the requisites of marriage. Article 27. Article 27 by the husband. Okay, so another question, you might have this question also in mind. If in case there are offenses made, what are the offenses stated in PD 1083 related to the provisions that I have read above? Article 163 of our PD 1083, offenses against customary law. The Sharia Circuit Court, with regards to marriages, it is the Sharia Circuit Court that has the jurisdiction. The Sharia Circuit Court, in cases involving offenses against customary law, which can be settled without formal trial, may at its discretion direct the Sharia Clerk of Court to constitute a council of not less than 2 or more than 4 members, with him as chairman to settle that case amicably. And I would like to read also this Article 183. And this 183 states offenses relative to subsequent marriage, divorce, and revocation of divorce. Again, Article 183, this pertains to offenses relative to subsequent marriage. As I have sharing with you, we are talking on marriages or the nikah. This also, Article 183 covers divorce and revocation of divorce. A person who fails to comply with the requirements of Article 85, 183, and 162 of this code shall be penalized by arresto mayor, or a fine of not less than 200 pesos, but not more than 2,000 pesos, or both, in the discretion of the court. I would like to read: a person who fails to comply with the requirements of Article 85, 161, 162 of this code shall be penalized by arresto mayor or a fine of not less than 200 pesos but not more than 2,000 pesos or both in the discretion of the court. I would like to read to you what is this Article 85. What is this Article 85 of our PD 1083? This pertains to registration of revocation of divorce. So, within 7 days after the revocation of a divorce by review, the husband shall, with the wife's written consent, file a statement thereof with the circuit register and whose records that divorce was previously entered. And 161. What is 161? Again, I will be reading to you some of these provisions so that at least we can have an idea of what really govern our lives with regards to marriage. We cannot just say that I am a Muslim, I can do whatever I want. No. My dear brothers and sisters, we must be governed by the laws. Every actions that we are going to plan to do, let's know what are these laws. If we don't know, we may go or seek the advice of the Sharia counselor. So what is this 161? Article 161 that is mentioned in Article 183. This is divorce by talak and tafwid. Paragraph 1. Any Muslim male who has pronounced a talak shall without delay file with the clerk of court of the Sharia Circuit Court of the place where his family resides a written notice of such fact and the circumstances attended thereto. After having several copy thereof to the wife concerned, the talak pronounced shall not become irrevocable until, after the expiration of the prescribed ida, the notice filed shall be conclusive evidence that talak has been pronounced. I'm just giving you an overview. What are these provisions mentioned in Article 183? So if not complying to these articles 85 and 161 as well as 162. So what is this 162? I'll be reading this again to you. Subsequent marriages. Any Muslim husband desiring to contract subsequent marriage shall, before so doing, again, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, that husband must file a written notice thereof with the clerk of court of the Sharia Circuit Court of the place where his family resides. Upon receipt of said notice, the clerk shall serve a copy thereof to the wife or wives. Should any of them object, an Agama Arbitration Council shall be constituted in accordance with the provisions of paragraph 2 of the preceding article. If the Agama Arbitration Council fails to obtain the wife's consent to the proposed marriage, the court shall, subject to Article 27, decided whether or not to sustain her objection. I hope that is clear to you now, my dear brothers and sisters. Let me read again this additional article I would like everyone to know, especially Article 184, failure to report for registration. Except as provided in the article immediately preceding, a person who knowingly fails to perform his duty under this code to report for registration any fact concerning the civil status of person shall be punished by a fine of not less than 100 pesos but not more than 1,000 pesos. I hope, my dear brothers and sisters, we have a fruitful day today. I know you have other things to do, but you sit there and take time to listen to my sharing. Thank you for giving me time to learn with me what are these provisions of our PD 1083. Again, I would like to remind everyone that what I am sharing here is my opinion, only my opinion. This does not substitute any legal advice. For our brothers and sisters who are new to this program, to this Batas at Sharia program, this is done or in live streaming every Sunday at 12 noon to 1 o'clock. Please uh, like, share, and subscribe the YouTube channel as well as the FB page of this program of Counselor Sharia Counselor Noor Hernandez. I would like also to invite you to our program, the Dear Sister Khadija program. This is our advocacy in ending the violence against Muslim women and their children. This is aired every Friday at 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. I hope you take time to listen to our program because we will be reading real life stories of Muslima who have some marital issues. We hope that from time to time you'll connect with us, or even you can write to us, uh, share with us your marital concerns, and inshallah we will be giving you some. Of course, in my case, my opinion, but we can also guide you to whom you would be seeking legal advice. Like we have a lot of Sharia counselor, and of course we have Sharia counselor Noor Hernandez who could also help you with regards to your legal issues. Okay, I hope our time it has been that fruitful, and inshallah, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this uh, Facebook page of the Sharia Batas at Shari'ah. And then, my dear brothers and sisters, we hope you will be joining us with our advocacy. To my fellow advocates on this advocacy on ending the violence against Muslim women, namely Sister Mariam Kudir Bacolod, Sister Khadija, Sister Aisha, Sister Rashida, Sister Doc Anna, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Till the next episode, have a great time. Thank you for watching.